pull up a chair. This is Off the Back Porch. Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer is brought to you in part by Country Village Sporting Goods. Everything you need to get in the woods, the water, or to the camp is at Country Village Sporting Goods. Jason Hardy State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Jason Hardy at State Farm is there. And Larry's Pizza in El Dorado, home of the Double Pizza Parade.
20 plus years of bringing you the most important and latest information with local happenings, news, sports, opinions, and probably an attempt at humor. Also brought to you in part by Davis Farms Country Market. For farm to table fresh, it's Davis Farms Country Market. Cook's Body Shop. Chances are it will happen. And when it does, look to Cook's. Murphy Arts District. For the latest information on concerts and events, go to eldomad.com.
Recorded live from Main Street Pizza in historic, beautiful downtown El Dorado, Arkansas. With a history of being the voices you trust. This is Off the Back Porch with Boomer and Sandy. Or Sandy and Boomer. Or two old guys you've known for a long time, whatever. And now your hosts, Troy, Boomer, Barrios, and B.A. Sandy Sanford.
Hey, welcome for another edition of Off the Back Porch. I'm Sandy. He's Boomer. Yep. And what a beautiful day it is to be here at Main Street Pizza.
Where the locals come to eat.
Where the locals come to eat. And you know why that's important is because if you go to a new town or you go visit somewhere, you want to know where the locals go.
Well, you look for the cars.
Right, exactly, yeah.
If it's 6:15 and there's one car at that restaurant, maybe don't stop.
Probably a good reason why there's not. Yeah. But here at Main Street Pizza, you know, we were talking to Donnie before the show today, and we were just talking about it's the little things that make a difference. So, for example, they make their own ranch in-house.
Yeah, they do.
And that's why no one else in town has a ranch that tastes like the ranch here at Main Street.
Yeah.
You know, what is it he always says? You'll never find bag lettuce here.
No.
They buy lettuce by the head. They chop it themselves for the salad bar.
Yeah.
And it's just those little things.
Little things that make the difference.
And
their pizzas are very consistent. When you come here, you know what you're going to get. So good.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we can't. My whole crew, we can't come here without an order of armadillo eggs.
I like those, and I don't very often order them, but I like them.
I do too. Yeah, I like them too. I like them because they have the taste of jalapeno, but not a lot of heat.
Yeah.
You know, this whole not having a gallbladder thing.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's, you know.
Yeah, when you get rid of that, that kind of changes
things. Changes everything. And not in a good way. Other than I'm not laying in the floor hurting now like I used to.
And they make a sandwich, you know, and I love the pizza. They make a sandwich called the Wildcat Chicken Sandwich.
Yes.
And it has that sauce on it, and I double that sauce. And it's it's Donnie's invention, and I like that. You ought to try it if you come in.
Yeah, that's here at Main Street Pizza. So again, thank you for tuning in with us today. Boomer, graduation was huge.
I heard.
I think last time I saw, and this was last night, but over 5,700 people have watched our stream of El Dorado's high school graduation, and that's awesome. And so I rarely come on here and do this, but we've got some really big announcements. I'll tell them to you when we're off camera.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
You're going to say them now?
No.
Okay.
I just can't yet.
Oh, I got you.
The deal's done. The paperwork's signed.
Oh.
But we're waiting to make that announcement later.
Okay.
We got some really big stuff coming on. And if you would like to be a part of, whether it's this podcast or any of the other things that we do at southarkansasnow.com, it's always local news, weather, sports, events, weather coverage, the wildfires in Smackover. Obviously, I was out there chasing those that whole time. You know, had a tornado drop in on me in Magnolia when I was chasing storms out there. But, you know, if you would like to be a part of it, if you would like to see what South Arkansas Now can do for you and your business, then give me a call. I'm going to put my contact number here at the bottom of the screen, as well as that of our general sales manager, which is Jack Sanford, and that's my oldest son.
Yeah,
and he has Boomer.
He's the one of the ones.
Yeah, he's the oldest. He's the oldest male in the 1.0s.
1.0s.
Yeah, and but anyway, he has really taken to. He's just learned the craft, and he knows he's been learning obviously he spent a lot of years in college. God knows he spent a lot of years in college, but he graduated with his degree and now he's working on his master's, and he's really taken to marketing well, and he understands, and he's even taught me some things just as far as analytics and looking at things from different perspectives. So if you think we can help you in your business, you would be surprised at how little it could cost you and your business to be a part of SouthArkansasNow.com.
Sandy, let me say something here, and backing up to tornado coverage, because I was not on the team that night.
Right.
I would have been if you'd have called me. I'd have went chasing with you, because I've done it before.
Yeah.
But from a consumer standpoint, of course, we had the TV on, and I had South Arkansas Now on, and we had broad coverage on TV. But South Arkansas Now, and y'all were covering exactly where things were happening, the roads in Camden and what was flooded and where you shouldn't go. So for that kind of coverage, that's what South Arkansas Now specializes in, hometown coverage of all the events that are happening in town. So good job,
Thank you.
say.
I appreciate that. And one of the things I tell my staff is we aren't going to ignore a news story. We're just not going to ignore a news story because that would be irresponsible. But we are not going to be putting booking photos on our front page. We're not going to be accentuating the negative. There's just too many good things that we can talk about and we can focus on rather than to do, to just go negative. Yeah, we could get a lot of clicks. If every day we got a new booking photo from the Union County Jail, and we put it on there and you could click it and you could see what that person's charges are, that would be a lot of clicks. But is that who we want to be? And our answer is no, we don't.
Well, but maybe not local, but let's do those cats in New Orleans that crawled out through a toilet. How you like that?
Yeah, that was good.
And what they wrote above it.
Yeah, I saw that.
But here's the deal. The last guy they caught, not the last one, but one of the guys they caught this morning, wandering around in the French quarters. Here's my thoughts. If you're in the French quarters, you're real close to the Mississippi River. Just go jump in. Just go jump in.
Get the other side.
No, just float. You wind up in Plaquemine Parish somewhere, but I mean, you're gone.
Though there's alligators in that water, though.
Well, but they well fed.
Yeah, by people who jump into Mississippi.
Oh
my thought is, if I escape from jail in New Orleans, let me tell you the last place you're going to find me. New Orleans.
Well, yeah, but I don't understand why they stayed. As soon as that's why they're in there, because they're not the smartest.
The ability to make good decisions seems to escape them. So.
Yeah, if I'm out, first thing I would have done was got out of New Orleans. Yeah. Most of them they've caught. I think they've caught 6 of them now. They were all caught in New Orleans.
Well, my thing is, think about if you're going to escape from jail, think about somewhere you've never been that you want to go. Yeah. I've never been to Atlantic City. Then go to Atlantic City.
I think I'm gonna jump on a bus. Let me get some clothes that ain't orange first.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, put those guys on the front. You get some clicks.
Yeah, we could get some clicks with those guys. Yeah. So, hey, speaking of going to places you've never been, it is the season for vacation.
Sure.
Yeah. Your kids are all grown and moved out of the house, but even since then, though, y'all done some family vacations.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and it's been a minute. We had a whole crew, all of them, all the the kids and the parents and the wives and everybody,
grandkids,
and it's been 11 years now since we did that. But with the last time we went as a group, it was the whole family.
So we did that a few years ago as well. We went to Panama City Beach as a family, and it was every one of the kids. And matter of fact, it was like the second week of school, so some of the kids had to miss school to go.
Really?
Yeah, but we did it. We had never been on a family vacation with all the 1.0s and the 2.0s, and we had never done it. So we just bit the bullet and we said
we went to Panama City.
We went to Panama City Beach, and had a great time. I mean,
is that the one you can drive out on the beach?
I didn't try.
Okay. One of those beaches in Florida you can drive out. I don't know if that's out in Miami or
Well, you can probably drive on any of them.
I mean,
until you get
to.
caught.
Yeah.
But you think about vacations and the kids are like, Daddy, are we going on vacation? And I'm like, vacations, let's put this in perspective.
Yeah.
You know how we like to bicker and argue and fight?
Yeah.
Let's take that show on the road.
Yeah, under stress.
While it cost us, 4 months of house payments, by the way.
Yeah.
Sure, kids, I'd love to take you on vacation and see what it's like to have you ignore me 3 states from where we live.
Yeah.
Or to not answer the phone when I call from a luxurious 5-bedroom, 5-bath
B&B.
beach house that, it's costing us $1,100 a night. That we spend about 15 minutes in other than sleeping.
Yeah, that you've been out on the beach or driving go-karts and
it's got a gourmet kitchen, but yet we're eating out God almighty.
And I want to tell you, we used to go to Perdido Key, and Destin was the last place that we really went to a bunch. Excuse me, great seafood places. But you're going to spend, 4 or 5 people or more, you're going to spend upwards $300 or $400 at a meal easily. With 2 people, you can spend over $100 easily.
Well, obviously with the 2.0s, the 1.0s and the 2.0s, it's straight up going to be. There's 8 of us, 6 kids and 2 adults, and I can't think of a time we ate that was less than $300.
Exactly,
and that was a few years ago.
Do you have any of your 2.0s that are interested in baseball or?
Well, I think His Royal Highness, the blessing we weren't anticipating.
Yeah,
I think
he's going to be a baseball player. I thought so, and because I saw a great story about a family that travel ball's the big thing right now.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Travel ball, and you've done that, and you've coached baseball, but travel ball. This lady says she just wanted to make a little accounting of what they spent on one weekend.
Don't do that
in travel ball, and she did, and she went down the line, and she kept up with the gas. You know what? When you and I are doing accounting on a trip, we keep up with the gas, but we don't keep up with what we spend in the store on chips and drinks. Okay,
right.
So if you've got 4 or 5 people, that's $20-$30 right there. So by the time she got done, that one weekend cost her about $1,300, just with rooms and
that's cheap.
And that was cheap, yeah.
Because I can tell you, 13, 14 years ago, last time I coached a travel team, it was $1,300 or $1,400 for a weekend then.
Yeah,
and so she's definitely doing it better than I did.
Well, it was just she, her husband, and one son.
Yeah, so, and it was normally just me and Jax, the oldest son, and most of the time it was just the 2 of us. But still, by the time and the other thing is, as coach, you've always got a kid or 2 who they didn't have snow cone money.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Or, there's just always that kind
incidentals.
Of stuff. Yeah, incidental stuff. Now, I coached a team one time that I had a kid on my team, Boomer, that if I didn't go pick him up,
he wouldn't come.
He couldn't come to practice.
Oh.
If I didn't go pick him up, he couldn't make a game.
Really?
If I didn't buy him a glove, he wouldn't have had one.
Oh. So that's what you what you want to do.
I bought him the cleats we were using. They were metal cleats, spike cleats that year, and they were $125 a pair. And I bought him a pair so he'd have a pair just like everybody else on the team.
Well, good for you.
And he was everything you want from a player like that. Is that he was grateful. Now, he couldn't play dead in a Western. Okay, he was horrible. He was a terrible ball player.
That's beside the point.
But the fact of the matter is the kid, and he was appreciative,
truly enjoyed
and grateful for it, and that makes it worth it. But yeah, travel ball, man.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, my banker called me and said, "Hey, I see you coaching the travel ball teams." Like, yeah, he said, "You don't make enough for that." I know.
I'm not a financial planner, but I can see things.
We're going to take a break. We have some special guests coming up with us today. We'll talk to them here in a little bit as well. We're going to be back right after this. This is Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boom.
Grammy Award-winning Train, live. August 27th, the Mad Amphitheater in El Dorado, Arkansas. Train with special guest Edwin McCain. On sale now at eldomad.com. Presented by Save Me San Francisco Wine Company.
Life happens. And sometimes that means life throws you a curveball and someone hits your car. You don't have the time, the energy, or the inclination to deal with it. That's why Jody Cook and Cook's Body Shop is here. Whether it's an insurance claim or some cosmetic work you've been putting off for far too long, check with our friends at Cook's Body Shop. They are the official body shop partners for the Off the Back Porch podcast. When it happens, look to Cook's.
Welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And I'm not Boomer, even though I do fill out credit applications in his name. Boomer,
quit it.
Stop it.
Stop that.
Yeah. So, last week we were talking about airlines And we talked about TWA and Braniff and how they've gone out of business and all. Well, of course, there are gazillions of airlines. There's lots of regional airlines. You know, every time some town gets a new airline, you're like, well, I never even heard of them. Then you find out they've been in business since 1964. Yeah,
well, you have to have dedicated ones like at our airport. They're paid to.
Right. Yeah. And so, anyway, this particular airlines is called Cathay Pacific. It's a Singapore-based airline. Cathay.
Like Kathy, but Cathay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And so a Singapore-based airline has issued an apology after they served a 3-year-old a glass of white wine during a flight. Evidently, it was supposed to be water, but the child said the water tasted sour. The dad took the sippy cup and realized it was white wine. The flight attendants apologized and immediately got the child some water. Now, the dad has been like, hey, she took a sip, okay?
Yeah.
But the mom is like, oh, they didn't do anything about taking care of my child after she drank this wine. She took a sip.
So was she mad because it was only a 3-year-old wine? Oh, it's a 3-year-old. I'm sorry. It's a 3-year-old that drank it.
Right.
It may have been.
It could have been a good fine vintage.
Farm.
Yeah. Or Boone's Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have come out of a box.
Had good wine out of a box.
But she's all like, they didn't do anything to check on her welfare afterwards and blah, 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 blah.
She wanted some recompense.
Yeah. My thing is you would have never known what to do with my dad, with Buddy Sanford, because I can tell you, I don't remember him doing it to me, although I'm sure he did.
So Buddy told me one time, he said, here's what I used to do with Sandy. He said, son, God has a plan for your life. And I know he does because I've talked to God. But right now, drink this. Take this medicine.
Take this medicine right here. But I saw him do it to my baby sister when she was teething. I mean, he would run his finger down in a bottle of Seagram 7 and rub it on her gums.
Well, just to deaden it a little bit.
Yeah, and then of course maybe if there was a little extra, sleep good. I mean. Just don't give them dog medicine like I did my kid,
Or ivermectin. No, you didn't do that.
I didn't say that. I didn't do that.
It could have been.
Would have, though. I mean, it could have been ivermectin. Don't know what I gave him. So just know it was dog medicine. Like I said, now he barks every now and then. Pees on the rug, but we rub his face in it and send him back to his apartment in Ruston. But so Cathay Pacific, they've hired a PR team to try to help them get past this disastrous thing where a 3-year-old accidentally tasted a sip of wine.
Okay.
So I just let you know that I applied.
You applied
to be the new PR man.
Oh, the PR man for them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you some of the things I came up with.
Okay.
And you tell me why they didn't hire me, because I don't know. Cathay Pacific's new motto, where even toddlers get a taste of the high life.
Oh, I like that.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
When the kid said his juice was sour, or her juice was sour, Cathay replied, that's the vintage talking.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about, how old the wine was.
Cathay's kids menu now includes sippy cups labeled red and white.
Sandy, that may not work.
Okay, well,
red juice, white juice.
How about this one? Introducing the airline's newest loyalty program, the Frequent Sippers Club.
Yeah.
I mean,
bring your children.
Yeah. Bring your kids.
Yeah.
We'll knock them right out.
We love the children.
For those of you who don't know what that joke is, Boomer and I used to do the play-by-play, if you will, of the parade.
Christmas parade.
For years, we did that on the radio.
Uh-huh.
And they would bring us this binder. And am I joking?
No.
It's this thick.
No, and basically what it was each contestant in the parade filled out.
Yeah, it was everything on their entry form.
Their entry form, yeah.
And we get this one entry one year, and he wrote in the big letters, read it just like this.
Yeah.
And it was a car.
It was just a car
entry, and he had a Superman logo.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm lying, I'm dying. Boomer, here comes Superman, and according to him, Superman loved the cheering.
Silence.
Dead silent. Read it just like
we looked at each other and didn't say a thing.
And he rides past us. Of course, this is all going out live over the radio. He rides past us.
Yeah.
As he goes by, giving us the thumbs up.
Yeah.
We did it just like he wanted. Let's
Still
see.
don't know why.
Superman.
Should have had some internal editing going on.
Love the cheering.
Love the cheering.
Yeah. Other things that I pitched in my attempt to become the new PR spokesperson for Cathay Airlines was Cathay Pacific's in-flight daycare featuring nap time and wine pairings. They didn't like
Pair
that
of
for some
wine
reason.
with you now.
By the way, the toddler gave a review. It was notes of oak with a hint of negligence. After the incident where the 3-year-old was given wine, they asked the toddler, and she said, "I came for the cartoons, but I stayed for the Cabernet."
So none of that bit. You
None
threw
of
all
it.
that on the wall.
I put all that out there, and they
None
were
of
like,
it stuck.
"No, thank you. We're going to hire real professionals." Okay,
Here we go.
you get what you pay for. Is all I can tell you.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
Everybody loves a parade, and hilarious pizza throws parades all week long. Bring the family in for your favorites, or explore the variety that Hilarious Pizza offers. Come join us at Hilarious Pizza for the greatest parade ever.
Spring has sprung at Davis Farms Country Market. They're bringing the farm straight to your fork with daily deliveries of crisp local spring vegetables. Think ripe tomatoes, fresh ears of corn, the first batches of cucumbers, and more. And all of it is being grown by nearby farmers. Stop by and taste spring the way nature intended. Only at Davis Farms Country Market, 4523 Junction City Highway.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch. I'm Sandy. This is not Boomer sitting next to me, but he's still here. And but we are happy to welcome from MAD, Murphy Arts District, we have Joanna Benson, who's with us. How are
Hello.
you today?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having us.
I'm fabulous. And Pam Griffin. So
Hello.
great to have y'all here with
Thank
us today.
you. Great to be here.
Now,
Thanks for having us.
Joanna is,
Yes.
if you don't know, she's in charge of marketing.
Yes, something like that.
And I think you said this is your circus and is your monkeys. Pam's actually in charge of everything. So,
You name it, I'll do it.
yeah, but so let's start with you. When you came to MAD, you didn't come on as CEO.
I did not.
You were an accountant.
I am. I'm a CPA. I still keep my license.
Is that right?
I do.
And so
I worked hard to get it. I don't want to lose it.
Well, yeah, of course. And but now you're CEO. What is that transition been like? What were some of the shocks of that transition?
It's kind of like jumping in the deep end. I did that. I came on, as you said, in 2015. My 10-year anniversary is coming up next month, actually, and can't believe it's been that long. I came on board in the summer of 2015 when they had ideas and they had architectural drawings, but we didn't have cash flows and pro formas and operating budgets and things like that. And so that's where I came on board and got involved in that and started looking at all the numbers and putting that together and went through the construction process and opening weekend and, of course, all the things that we did up until COVID. And then when COVID hit, that's changed our organization significantly.
Obviously, yeah.
And our previous CEO, Terry Stewart, who was the former president and CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who he's still on our board and he still stays involved, but COVID shut down his travel back and forth from Cleveland. And so he moved to being just a board member, and then I stepped up into that CEO role at that time. So
it's real easy to, and not saying you were, but it's real easy when you're not the person who's ultimately in charge to be critical or to think, well, I'd have done that differently. Did you have some of those moments after you got there? You were like, whew, this is one of those things where I'd have made fun of myself.
Yeah, well, and the thing about MAD is we've made it up as we go along, and there's not many of us at all that have ever worked in a role like we have now, and so we've all just kind of taught ourselves and learned as we went, and we made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we've learned from them, and we try to do better as we go. So we just keep on rolling.
Obviously, one of the questions that, and I'm not that I get this question personally, but it's the things that you hear, well, why don't they have so-and-so come? Why don't they have this person come? And these are for Boomer and I, we know what it's like to try to book acts. We've done it, and we know sometimes it's not just the thousands upon tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars it costs to book the act, but then the rider, they want no green M&Ms in the bowl, and they want you to count their calories for them for their meals, and I get it. That's all part of the gig, but I think these people don't understand. You can't just go out there and say, okay, we're going to bring Cat Williams. Cat Williams, we're going to have a comedy show with Cat Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, how many millions of dollars is that?
That would be great, though. If we
Listen, I would have a front. I would have a front
I
row
would be
seat.
there.
Yes.
I would be there for Cat.
Same.
But what is it that when you're out in the community and people are like, well, why don't you have so and so? Why didn't y'all have George Strait come? That kind of thing. I mean, if you get ZZ Top, by gosh, you could have George Strait. It's not the same.
It's not, and every artist is different, and every artist's goal for their career and their touring schedules is different. And so it's aligning dates, scheduling, it's aligning pricing and what we can sell tickets for per ticket price, as well as the number of tickets we think we can sell for that show, and making the numbers work, but then also making the schedule work and making our venue align with that artist's goals for their trajectory as an artist, especially for the ones that are up and coming. And they have, the agents and artist management work with them on, here's how you get from where you are today to where you want to be in your career 2 or 3 years from now. And sometimes our size venue works with that plan, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
and so
also,
there's a lot of coordination that goes into.
Sure.
Also, they're looking to fill out a schedule per dates. So
Right.
they're traveling most likely from Memphis to Dallas, and they've got a Tuesday in Memphis and a Saturday in Dallas. Well, they want us on a Thursday.
Right.
And Thursday's not your big day. You want to have a Friday or a Saturday here. So that's we saw working against that when we did this.
That's why we have train on a Wednesday night.
Sure, yeah. Well, and people will come out for train now. El Dorado support train.
But Boomer, one of the things that you and I know is also it depends on their last venue and their next venue.
Yeah.
So if they are, if their next venue is a casino in Shreveport, you can't have them because you're inside that protected zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that radius clause.
And so they're like, nope, you can't go there.
They gotta be close enough, but not too close.
Right.
What do they call that? A DMA? Dedicated market? I'm sorry, go ahead. What does that mean?
The radius clause?
No, the radio. That's what I was asking Sam.
Yeah, it's different. It's just whoever writes the contract. You can call it whatever you call it. But
it's you can't play within so many miles of our venue within X number of dates before and after.
I think
show.
we always called it the designated protected area.
Yeah.
Is a DPA. Is I think what we always called it. But anyway, so Joanna, let's talk about you for a minute. Now, now you you're homegrown.
Not about her.
I am
Talk to
homegrown.
her.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you, not about. Did y'all hear what I heard? Now, y'all, we need to pray because here's what I heard.
Please do. Go for it.
She needs it, and I need to practice.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
He stole my line. I told an old pastor that one time. I said, brother, I was praying for you, and he said, well, that's good, son. He said, because I need the prayer and you need the practice. So, But yeah, you're homegrown. I mean,
I am homegrown.
You grew up here and you graduated from El Dorado High School.
I did.
Not that long ago.
I'm old. No, I'm old.
No, whatever. You're the youngest person at this table.
Oh, that's true. I'll accept that. Yes, yes, yes.
So what is it that made you, what is it that you said, okay, I can be the marketing director. I can do that job.
Well, I think at that time I was given an option. It was, do you want to do this or would you rather do this? And there was no doubt in my mind that the marketing aspect of it. And at that time it was more just social media. We had a CMO at that time when I was asked. And they said, do you want to, because I was the administrative assistant. I was the one answering the phones and,
Joanna
doing all
was employee number 7.
Yes, I've been here since 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So, I started out as the admin assistant, which was great and learned so much from that. But yeah, there came a point where we got so busy and I was kind of already doing it anyway. They were like, do you want to do this or do you want to stick with the social media? It's like, duh. Social media, that sounds way more up my alley because I'm good. I'd say my strengths are customer service, communication, and just that overall creativity that you can bring to social media as opposed to like being involved in numbers and things like that. And so
let me brag on her for a second.
Yeah.
She is very responsive. So when I reach out to her with a question, or I reach out to her and say, "Hey, I need this or need that," Johnny on the spot. I mean, she really is. She really is always on it, and I appreciate, because sometimes if I'm waiting for something, I'm actually waiting. I can't go forward until I get that, and I never have to wait.
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna say where she can't hear us, but you know, she deserves all the kudos she can get.
She
so.
does.
Well, I know how that is though, and so that's why I really do try to be. I try my. So I don't know that everyone would say that about me, but for I do try. I try.
So when you get an artist coming in, obviously one of the first things you have to think is my budget going to be promotion or education? Because, for example, you don't have to spend a lot of education dollars to tell people who Tracy Lawrence is.
Right.
You don't have to spend a lot of education dollars to tell them who Ted Nugent or ZZ Top.
Right.
But the Avett Brothers, on the other hand.
Well, and you would say that, but my husband would not say that.
Yeah, right.
It really just depends. And, I have to research a lot of these artists because I didn't know who Josh Malloy was. I don't know who Larry Fleet is because I don't listen to country, but I am learning.
Well, we're praying for you. We've talked about that already.
Thank you. I knew who Tracy Lawrence was. So, yes, we were good on that. But, yeah, you're right. A lot of it is education sometimes, and that to me is playing their song. When people say, "Oh, I did know that song," well, you got to include that in their radio ad for sure.
Right.
That's a lot of it. They'll know who the artist is without knowing that they know. And then
they
hear the song and they're like, "Oh yeah, I love that song." Okay, well, come in,
Yeah. Hey, Soul Sister. Oh, yeah, of course I knew that song. I thought it was Green Day.
I did have to play some Train for our younger staff
or
members.
Or older like me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, some of ours are, high school and early college, and they, and then you play, well, let me play Soul Sister. Surely you know that. And they're like, oh, yeah, I do. Or my parents listen to that.
That's my mom's favorite. That's her jam.
That's her ringtone. Like, oh, my gosh.
Let me interject about the Avett Brothers. I saw them in Fayetteville. And they are a huge act. Everybody will love them. It's not country. It's not rock and roll.
Right.
They are alternative.
They're just good
They're
musicians.
just good. They're hot. They're hot right now too.
Yeah.
And they've got some songs out in some movies and things, and they will be loved. I'm telling you.
Fantastic musicians.
They are good musicians.
For their show, their opening act is kind of more well known here than they are, like Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah.
And we
Blackberry
run into
Smoke.
that quite a bit, where the opening act, is way more.
They won Battle of the Bands here, didn't they?
No.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, there was
They
people
would
at
if they
the
were in
last
it.
concert we had that were saying, "Oh, we'll be back for Blackberry Smoke," and we follow them and all this. So you learn stuff every day about what the people are listening to and what they enjoy around here.
Now, let me say this. One of the hardest parts of booking acts is you get some act in here and he's just a butthole. Then they're difficult to deal with from the very beginning, and then they don't want to do meet and greets, and then they begrudgingly say, okay, they'll do meet and greets, and it's like every picture,
Yeah.
And I'm not asking you to name names, but
would you?
No. Has that been one of the things you've experienced, and it's just like, wow, he's just a jerk?
I wouldn't say like a jerk, but you can tell some people are there, to kind of get it over with type of vibes.
Less than willing.
But I can honestly say I don't feel like that has happened as much as I thought it would. And then there's been some people that have totally shocked me. They'll be walking around the venue or walking around the square just like your average person. Or I remember the Temptations being some of the most kindest people backstage and just, hugging everybody like your family. And I remember those moments quite a bit. I think it was Dennis Quaid, Pam. Do you remember when he was here?
Yeah.
And he had like an old
he had his
whole
kids and a couple
baseball
of puppies
coach
with
came
him.
and like they hadn't seen each other since he
yeah.
was a kid, and like they had a moment where there was like tears, and we're like, oh my gosh, they're so sweet. And normal people, and I love to see that.
You know, and then there's, like I said, then there's the ones who, this was obviously before Mad, but when Charlie Daniels came to town, he just walked around downtown just like he belonged here, you know, just.
And some people can, because they just look like your average person walking around. You never know. But
right. Joan Jett, on the other hand, did stand out.
Yeah. There's some people that are going to be like, they're not from El Dorado.
Yeah. Well, and then Shooter Jennings at the time was dating Drea De Matteo from The Sopranos.
And she was there.
She was Adriana on The Sopranos, who was the absolute most smoking hot member of the cast. And she stood out. You know, when
somewhat.
Right.
Yeah,
you can tell when
just
someone's not from here. I don't know what it is, but.
I will say, though, that the artists or sometimes the band or the crew, when they get out and walk around the square, they always come back so hugely complimentary of our community and how clean and nice and awesome the people are, and the square and downtown is in general.
Not a lot of squares
really
around look like
that.
That's true.
No, not a lot.
And they fall in love with us when we get them here, and we feed them well, and we treat them well, and we show them a good time, and they
They want to come back.
By the way, I do have one small bone to pick.
Oh, here we go.
Bring it.
Listen, you stay out of this. This has nothing to do with you.
I'm trying to.
Well, you're not trying very hard.
Okay, I'll try better.
So, next time you have Ron White.
Yeah.
And he wants to play golf. I got this.
Yeah.
You know,
you can hang with him.
Oh yeah. No, I can't. No, he's a much better.
Didn't ZZ Top play golf too? I feel like
that had to be
there's
fun.
been a few that have requested
Justin
golf.
did. Justin Moore did. He loves Majestic.
He might have had a really good time.
Toby Mac played. He loved it. They all love Mystic.
Well, who
would there?
You know, my thing is at Mystic, you're not going to shoot well, but you know that. Yeah. You know, I don't care how good you think you are. You're not going to shoot well.
You're going to shoot how much you pay.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you know, and I've just always, it's funny, speaking of Ron White, so obviously his show got postponed because of COVID, like 2 years. It was a long time.
Something like that, yeah.
And so I'm a big Joe Rogan podcast watcher / listener, and I'm watching, and he's, you know, Ron White's a constant guest on there, and but Ron White's like, yeah, so they got me going, I'm going to Houston and some little town in Arkansas and blah blah blah, and he goes on, and I was like, so at the time I had a license, I think I was telling Joanna this, I had a license for some software, and I just typed in to watch Ron White tour schedule Arkansas, and within 17 minutes that search on Google went viral. Just that many people saw, and they're like,
wanted to know where he was
going.
That's awesome.
And you know, so just things like that is really cool. I mean, obviously, there's no one who has a bigger audience than Joe Rogan. I mean, it's
which I'm loving the little baby AI.
Isn't that hilarious?
Isn't that cool?
Those are so great
because they're so accurate in how they look.
Expressions.
So the ones they do of Theo Vaughn.
Yes,
you know, with the little mullet. And, you know, now Theo's humor and mine, they don't necessarily jive the most, although he's a hilarious guy.
I like him because he's an old Road Rules guy.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was the Road Rules Real Life, you know, original reality TV.
So
back in the day.
You may not have known this, but
aging myself.
Pam and I are almost related.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Are you from Hope, too?
Yeah.
No, I'm not from Hope. I was born and raised in Texas. But I have an aunt by marriage that was her roommate in college forever.
Uh-oh.
So, Shelley, how many years were y'all roommates?
Well, we weren't exactly roommates.
Just BFFs?
We were BFFs.
Okay.
And she was actually the only one that I never did room with because everybody always said don't room with your best friend because you won't be best friends anymore.
That makes sense.
And there's a lot of truth to that. And so Shelley and I never actually roomed together. But we did, like, you know, sleep in each other's rooms a lot.
y'all ended up at each other's houses a lot.
Yes, we did.
But so again, she was I married into a family. She married into family, and so she was like, "Oh, well, you may know my best friend since I've been in college, and is Pam Griffin?" Like, yeah. And so now I just
I got some Shelley stories for you.
Well, see, that's what I was going to ask. Can we tell some of those? I mean, can we?
Well,
Love you,
Right
Shelley.
now?
does she watch this?
Never.
Will now.
No.
Let's just see
No.
what you say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Might have to bring her on
Spill
next
it.
time.
You know, I'll just say this about Shelley, and I love her. I do. And if you don't love her, you can't go to heaven, because she's just a fabulous person. Her only flaw is
You?
sometimes who she picks to marry.
She's got a bad picker, and she can't make plans.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
How many
you
times
got
has
to
she
go to
picked?
her. You
Oh,
gotta-
it didn't matter.
How many?
How many times has she picked?
I mean, it's on up there.
Really? 3?
There's
Well,
a limit.
there's
There's a
boyfriends.
limit.
Yeah, I mean, are we
Right.
talking about marriages?
Well,
or are we
whatever.
talking about like?
Everything.
Listen, now
I've just lost track of that.
now you're talking about her, and she's not here to defend herself.
There you
remember?
go.
You started it.
But I'm related to her.
Okay. So
You're a
that makes
stranger.
God,
Stranger danger.
Here we go.
Next thing you know, he's going to need help finding a lost puppy or something. I got some candy in my van.
Oh, God.
Stay away from the van, kids.
Please.
All right, so I want to play this game with y'all if you have a moment,
Uh-oh.
and everyone's going to participate. It's just a fill in the blank. So, all right.
Hey.
Can't say the Bible. Boomer, the book that has influenced me the most is.
Gone with the Wind. No, I don't know. I don't read.
Can you?
The Insider. How about that?
The Elroy Insider?
The Elroy Insider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Donnell. Yeah. So, Pam.
Who moved the cheese?
Oh, that's a great book.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Who Moved My Cheese? That's a fabulous book.
Can you come back to me a little later? You know, you just got me first a while ago.
He caught you off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't stop at the top of the
Well, I
question
know.
list.
The other ones that goes along with Who Moved My Cheese is The Tipping Point. I don't know if you've ever read The
I
Tipping
haven't read
Point.
that one.
Tipping Point's awesome, and I just blanked on the author, but basically, it one of the things it talks about is there comes that point to where something's either going to go good or go bad, and how when Rudy Giuliani took over as mayor of New York, one of the first things he told the police said, "I want you to bust everyone who throws a rock through a window or jumps a turnstile at the subway." And they started doing that, and all of a sudden they started finding these people that were jumping turnstiles had warrants. And we've been looking for this guy for years. Well, he's jumping turnstiles, and now you finally got him. And so The Tipping Point, it's another one goes along with that one. All right, Joanna.
Oh, sorry.
I would say The Outsiders.
Oh, great book.
Classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Yeah.
I've always, for whatever reason, and they still use it at West Point as curriculum, Sun Tzu's Art of War. Let's see. The most disastrous thing I've ever done in my kitchen was?
Well, I didn't do it, but I had a friend over one time that was pregnant, and her belly accidentally hit the like the little starter ignition thingy, and we had I think a pizza box laying on top of it, and so it caught fire for a hot second because of her belly was like pushing against it. So we'll go with that one.
Okay. All right.
Wasn't me.
Pam?
I don't cook, so
Yeah,
I don't really spend time in the kitchen.
same.
Boomer? Most
What?
disastrous thing you've done in your kitchen?
Yep. I broke my toe on the oven.
On the oven?
Yeah, doing a karate kick. Me and Amy's karate kicking in the
In the kitchen?
kitchen. I broke my toe on the oven.
Yeah.
She laughed.
The most disastrous,
hurt.
Hardcore.
most
hurt.
disastrous thing I did in my kitchen was give my kid dog medicine.
Yeah, he did that.
I did.
He thought it was not dog medicine.
I thought it wasn't. Honest to goodness, I thought it was.
It
some
was in the
cough syrup.
people medicine,
Did he
sir.
live?
Well, yeah.
Mostly.
I mean, I wouldn't talk about
Did
it
he
if
have
he
to go
didn't.
have his stomach pumped?
No, didn't know it was dog medicine until the next day when he started peeing on the carpet. And no, that's not true.
Barking.
He didn't do that.
Tearing the curtains.
But I did give him dog medicine. He just had this. He had his allergies had transformed, and now he's getting this all day long. And I'm just sick of hearing him. And so
You thought it was kennel cough, so you gave
Oh gosh.
So I'm like, I know we have some cough medicine in that drawer where we keep all the medicine. I go in there and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is it. I can't read the label, but this is it. Smell it. It smells like cough medicine. And so I'm like, hey, come here, buddy. And I gave him the cough medicine. Cough was gone the next day,
It worked.
but he kept running in circles before he go to the bathroom. But not true. That part's not true.
could very well happen, but
But it
did.
could have happened. That's right. Pam, if you could have one superpower, it would be.
Oh, time travel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, time travel would be
yeah.
Yeah.
good. Joanne?
That's scary. I might go with time travel too, with like invisibility mixed in with that, so you can go back and see what really happened,
but not have to answer any questions about it.
Well, no, bring the answers
back
to now. Yes, we'll
or
go
maybe
with that.
like instantaneous travel. Like
See, that's mine.
If I could snap my fingers and like be in Paris for dinner tonight, and then snap my fingers and be back for work, like that'd be fantastic.
That would be wonderful.
That's what I've always told my kids. My superpower would be is I could just think of a spot or name a spot, and there I am, and that would be, it would make that drive to the grocery store a lot easier. So I don't have to worry about traffic. I can just Brookshire's, and there I am.
Just to like transport yourself.
Bread
immediately. Yeah.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, Boomer, superpower.
Well, I thought knowledge. I thought I'd like all knowledge, but like Joanna, you may not. Some of the stuff you may not want to know.
Yeah.
With wisdom comes sorrow.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
that's actually.
But I think quoting scriptures over there. I think the instantaneous travel thing would be.
Yeah.
None of us said they wanted to fly.
No.
Fly.
None of us want to. I don't particularly. I'm scared of heights. First of all.
Me too.
Yeah. So I don't.
Yeah.
I'll jump out of an airplane right now.
Really?
You would?
Oh yeah.
A perfectly good one.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? I mean, would you take a parachute?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can say that, but go ahead.
And I want to be strapped to somebody that knows how to
somebody
work
else.
the parachute.
Yeah. You just want to ride.
I want to just go for the ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm out.
Have you seen those slingshot things that they do on TikTok
Yes.
all the time? Would you do that?
No.
Yeah.
I think I'd do that. I rode one in Branson where they put
take
you in that thing
pictures
and
of
the big
swing.
Yeah, I did that in Branson a long time ago.
I'm out on that.
Me too.
That looks too much like a carnival ride.
We'll video you.
Yeah.
My kids, take them to carnival. Daddy, can I do that? Nope.
Nope.
I saw them put that thing together. It took 11.2 minutes to put that together.
And I saw the guy that did it.
Right.
with all of his teeth, and none of them touched each other.
No.
none of them were next door neighbors to their other teeth. No, I'm good. Let's see. Here we go, Boomer. Here's one for you. I once tried to impress someone by doing blank, and it backfired.
God, that takes some thought, Sandy. Let's see. Come back to me on that. I don't have.
All right, I'll tell you all mine. I was in high school, and there's a lake outside of where I grew up there in East Texas, and it's called Red Hills Lake. And my cousin and I had drove to Red Hills Lake that Friday night late. We camped overnight. We got up the next morning, and we're going to spend the whole weekend on the lake. And there was this group of teenagers over there, and there were some girls, and I was going to try to impress them by telling them some jokes. Well, my problem is none of my jokes were clean, and that was a church group.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Still hadn't lived that one
Pretty
down.
Yeah. I've got a good one for you.
Okay.
I was trying to impress Joanna one day when we were doing a video during COVID out in the amphitheater, because we were trying to show people how to get up out of those little short chairs that we have in the amphitheater.
Didn't work.
And I thought, I'm going to be cute and I'm going to do a round off, because, when I was younger, I used to go do gymnastics. My hamstring hasn't been the same since.
Oh,
You pulled it. You yanked it.
I did. Well, I did it 4 times, and about the 3rd time is when it snapped. And I was like, that didn't feel good. What was that? So then I had to do it one more time just to make sure.
yep. Sure enough, it still don't feel. It still don't feel good.
It still doesn't feel good, but I did it, and it looked good on video.
It
but
did.
My
It
leg
did.
hasn't been the same since.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Pam.
Joanna, while no one can hear me right now, could you send me that video, please?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it's
could
on
use
Probably
that.
still on our Facebook
We could
page.
use
For
that.
sure. But no, it looks good in the video. You don't see the aftermath. I don't think we got that.
I'm just interested in seeing the video, so maybe sharing it with a few
Yeah.
100,000 people.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
It's out there on the interweb somewhere.
I don't have a good one either, but mine's probably my most recent one's very similar to Pam's. I was trying to impress my daughter one night, and I said I can do a back bend.
Oh.
And so I didn't even do it. I started to do it, and I was like, not a great idea. Well, the next day I couldn't get out of bed. Like I had to crawl to the bathroom. My husband's like, "What? And what are you?" I was like, "I don't know what I did, and I couldn't even remember why this even happened." But anyway, I had to go get a shot,
Oh, yeah.
get a steroid
Yeah.
pills, and
Yeah.
some other things. Yeah, so there's that.
Incidentally, those shots in your back, I had hurt my back. I weed eated around a pond. We did the dam, both sides of the dam, and all around. And a few days later, I just couldn't walk, and so I go to my doctor, and he gives me a steroid pack, and man, I felt great. Gosh,
Yeah.
I forgot what it was like to live pain free, and that lasted till the pills ran out.
Yeah.
And then I went back, and I'm like, dude, we got to do something. And he's like, well, I can give you a shot. I said, well, why didn't you tell me that to begin
Let's
with?
start with that.
We'd have done that from the get go. And he's like, all right, turn around, drop your pants. I say, it's in my back. Yeah, but where I got to stick it is down low, blah blah. Okay, so. And by the way, I'm hosting a medical student whom you don't know, so she's going to see your naked fat butt here. And so I turn around and all of a sudden he goes to stabbing me with, I guess, a piece of angle iron or something. My gosh, and I'm thinking, is he ever going to get done? And then finally he's like, there it is, and then he injects lava into my back, and he pulls that needle out, and I was like, damn, Robert, how long was that needle? He said, oh, I don't know, was that 5.5, 6 inches? I'm like,
Holy God.
and I was like, so I went to pull my pants up and said, no, we still got to do the other side. He said,
where's those pills again?
he said, I'm actually amazed you didn't pass out. I said, well, I didn't realize that was an option, or I would have. And
You
he's
got to
like,
lay down.
he said, we get those big old tough guys. They'll come in from the refinery or one of the plants, like, yeah, I can take a shot. And he said, next thing you know, we're like, Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith, waking him up off the floor. And
That would be me.
So he did the other side, but got to say, can't argue with the results.
Works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Hey.
fixed me up.
Can
So
walk again.
yeah, if I could master any skill instantly, like just tonight, you
Playing
would
the
be
guitar.
Yeah.
That's me.
Singing.
That's me
oh,
too.
Singing.
Boomer plays a guitar about as good as anyone I know.
Well, you don't know many people.
Well, that's true.
Because I'm not. I'm a strummer. I'm just a strummer.
Okay, well then
I can play it, but
mine was play a guitar, but mine was just be able to play as good as Boomer. And so
that's a good goal to get to first. But then,
Yeah.
then you want to be.
My problem
Mayer,
is
John Mayer. Or something.
I cut a
It's
finger
never
off.
good enough, is it?
I cut a finger off
Even for the masters.
when I was like 19 or 20
You
years
did?
old.
Yeah.
And they sewed it back on. That's why it's all gangly looking on the end.
It is gangly looking.
Yeah, but I have no feeling in the
Put
end
that
of
in
it.
your pocket.
Yeah.
That
Keep
would
that
be
in
the
your
front
pocket
hand.
more often.
So
You're going
I-
to have to play left-handed.
That's what somebody else told me. I was like, listen, I can't even write left-handed. You expect me to be able to play guitar left-handed? So now, Boomer and I have a friend, Mike Poor. He's a lefty, plays golf right-handed, plays guitar right-handed, but he's a lefty. Weirdo mutants. You know?
What you get used to.
All
I
three of my
guess.
dog. Well,
I think my husband might play guitar right-handed. I don't know now that I think about it.
Yes, and he's left-handed.
He's left-handed, and he almost cut his finger off too with a
Oh, wow.
hedge trimmer.
ooh, no, thank you.
It was gnarly.
I
was.
dropped I was at the gym and I dropped a weight on it, and it just popped it right off. Stuck it in my pocket and went to the emergency room.
Working out is dangerous.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
dangerous.
his was dangling.
and it hurts you. That's why I don't do it.
The guy that owned that gym, man, he called me to check on me like 5-6 times over the next few
I
weeks.
thought you were going to sue him.
And I thought he was just checking to make sure I was okay, but I think he was just checking on his liability status, But he ended up marrying my first cousin, and we still laugh about that to this day. And he's like, "No, I was just checking on you." I'm like, "Yeah, he was checking to see." No, he's going to his lawyer's office. He's not here right now.
I'll tell him you called.
And talking about playing guitar though, Boomer, one time he came to my house and he brought, I don't know if he brought his guitar, I just had mine, but we were just playing along there on the front porch, and I was like, "Hey, play Peaceful Easy Feeling by the Eagles." And he just did it. I mean, I can't do that. I know like 3 Vern Gosdin songs. They're like
You can learn-
the saddest stuff ever.
3 or 4 chords will play you
Yeah.
more than half
Most
the songs
everything,
out there.
That's true.
Especially country
Yeah. Yeah. Especially country and
and Christian.
Yeah.
You can do 4 chords in Christian music.
So I think it was someone told me, if you'll learn G, C, F, D minor,
E minor
E minor,
and A minor
and said you're good. You can play just about anything.
and an A. Throw an A in there and
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah. So
Goals. Goals. You can do
my
it.
my kids, they think I'm a fabulous guitar player because they have no taste. But they'll be my middle son now, he used to, when he was little, he'd say, "Daddy, get your guitar out. I feel a sadness coming on," because all I knew was old slow, sad songs. And but then when I learned London Homesick Blues by Jerry Jeff Walker, and
You're dating yourself now, brother.
Well, I mean, it's a classic old song, but they were like, the kids love that. And it's got a little progression in the chords, but I'm still not any good. I have to watch my fingers because I can't feel them. So it's not from diabetes. Again, it's because I cut them off. Well, what have you got coming up at MAD?
Well, we got Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah.
Friday.
Coming up this Friday.
This Friday, we got Tracy Lawrence. He kind of wraps up our crazy schedule that we've had in May.
Yeah.
May has been crazy.
It has been crazy. So we're really excited about him. And he's got 2 really cool openers, Clara Ray and Sam Sparks, who were both featured on American Idol during the audition process, and they made it to Hollywood. Sam's from Arkansas, and Clara's from Northern Louisiana. So
nice.
We're really excited to see them live.
And Tracy's from Foreman.
That's right.
And of course, he went to college at SAU.
Yes.
He did.
And so there's that connection there as well. And
In the 90s. It's a good time.
which was a great decade.
It was.
I think he was even in a
best
fraternity.
Yeah.
I
So
do.
I'm sure there's some great stories there.
There are people here in Union County who were fraternity brothers with him.
Oh, wow.
And they've told stories. And then promptly been reminded of some non-disclosure agreements that they can no longer tell those stories.
Right.
So you got Tracy Lawrence.
Yes. And then June, we got Boosie. You coming?
June 20th.
Are your kids coming?
I'm sure. Yeah.
June 20th. And that's with our friend J.O. I don't know if
Yeah.
you know J.O. Everybody knows J.O.
I hired J.O.
J.O.
Did
worked
you?
for
Yeah.
the station.
He worked.
Oh, wow.
He worked for me. He was waiting tables, and I went to him and I was like,
Waiting tables.
Yeah,
Really?
right out of high
I didn't
school.
know him then.
This was right when he
right
was,
out of high school,
Oh,
and
gosh.
of course I called his games when he played for the Wildcats, and
Man.
but he was waiting on us at a table one day, and he was just so nice and polite and funny, and I just said, J.O., do you want to be on the radio? He's like,
Yeah.
sure. And so I gave
wow.
him a job, and that's how he kind of got started.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, he's definitely a people person and has always got something new going on. So we're happy to partner with him on Boosie. This will be Boosie's third
Yeah, I was gonna say.
time coming, and I mean it draws a crowd every time.
Yeah.
It's wild. June 27th, we got Josh Malloy. He's country from Oklahoma. That's going to be a little bit more laid back, I believe, but
I like
should check him
He's got
out
a
if you
good
hadn't listened to
sound.
him.
Yeah.
He's got a really cool voice. July, we got Jason D. Williams, and that will be in the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, at the Madhouse.
Yes, at
Tickets
Madhouse 101. And
Limited
that's
seating, and it's
limited
going
seating.
quick.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can only hold close to 200 in there, and we're about, I'd say, halfway there right now. So
If you've never seen Jason D. Williams,
right.
folks, you just don't
Yeah.
realize,
Yeah.
you know,
a
and
whole experience.
It's one of those things that you kind of take for granted because of his local connections, and you know, he played the first ever music fest and all that. But if you've just never seen a Jason D. Williams show, you just have no idea what you're missing out on.
and
Yeah.
you're not going to be a non-participator.
Oh,
Right.
matter of fact,
He's
if he
gonna-
sees you
if
being a
he
non-participator,
Yeah.
you immediately become a participator.
So,
Yeah.
So the first music fest, he was on the steps of the courthouse, and we all just sat. I was sitting on the borders of where all the names
Wow.
are. So that's
Yeah.
it's gone from that to that, and had a long, great run at the music fest.
Yeah.
Yep.
His
Yeah.
son is coming with him
Yes.
this time. He's going to play too.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
His
cool.
son is-
Before he heads back off to college.
he's going to college
son,
at Fayetteville.
yeah.
And so that's why they wanted to do this summer before he goes to college.
That's neat. That's
It
neat.
is.
His son was going to play with
Last
him that night.
time I saw him was
Canyon. That's his name. Canyon,
Canyon
Williams.
Yeah.
at Jason D played at a wedding reception at Music Hall
He did,
at
yeah.
Financial.
First thing.
That was a
Yeah.
fun night.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
After that, we just announced this week Larry Fleet. He'll be here August the 2nd, and his tickets go on sale Friday. This Thursday. So they're on sale now. They're on sale now, and
Either they are or they aren't, but they're on sale somewhere. So.
yes.
He's great. He's kind of Chris Stapleton-y.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. That
Yeah.
make that.
So he's great.
That's what I was going to ask. Is
What kind? Yeah.
with some
He's
comparison.
got one of those songs that you need to look up. when you hear it, you go, "Oh, I've heard that song."
Oh, I've heard that song.
Don't
yeah.
ask me the name of it right now, but
Okay.
it's one of those.
Okay. Well,
Because I've mentioned him to a few people, and they're like, "Oh, he sings that song." I'm like,
well, then it makes we've already determined that you can never be my source for country trivia, country music
Well,
knowledge.
unless it's like 90s.
Okay.
90s.
So some Shania,
Yeah, we're good.
some Faith Hill.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're good on that. Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Then we got 2 back-to-back amphitheater shows. So August 23rd, we got the Avett Brothers with Blackberry Smoke. August 27th, we have Train with Edwin McCain.
Oh.
So we need to push some ticket sales for those 2 because the amphitheater can hold a lot of people, and if we don't have a lot of people, it looks like a little tiny people.
Yeah, yeah.
So, some of my favorite shows that I've ever been to, and I've been to concerts all over America. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with spending all the years that we did in radio, but some of my favorite shows, Toby Keith here in the amphitheater, Rascal Flatts in the amphitheater.
They were so good.
They're fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
I even enjoyed the Hank Williams Jr. show, although I didn't enjoy him that much. I just enjoyed the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Willie Nelson and Family was fabulous. Now, I had a DJ. She was 90 years old. And she got on the radio one day, and she was like, she had this gossip show, and that's all it was. It was on an AM station.
Awesome.
It was. I had to answer questions a lot. She's the only employee I've ever had who used the N-word on the air.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she was one.
And so now nobody was mad at her for saying it. They were mad at me for letting it go out over the air, even though I wasn't even in the studio when it happened. But okay. Anyway, she had this gossip show, and they'd just call and say, "Well, did you hear that the preacher down at such and such church done ran off with the song leader?" And it was just
What
it was
town
always
was this in?
Center, Texas.
I'm like, this wasn't El Dorado.
No.
No.
It was in Center, Texas.
Yeah.
It was called Maddie's Party Line. Her name was Maddie
my
Dillinger.
gosh.
And she's been on David Letterman. She's been on Jay Leno.
Wow.
She was on, you remember the daytime TV show Mike and Maddie?
Yeah.
It was
No.
Big people.
Yeah. Anyway, she was on that show. But anyway, somebody called her and they was like, "Maddie, we're going to Branson this weekend. Would you like to go?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'd love to go." And I said, "Okay, we'll pick you up," and blah, blah, blah. She said, "Well, who are we going to go see?" "Well, we're going to go see Yakov Smirnoff and Andy Williams and Willie Nelson." She's like, "No, I don't want to go. I don't like Willie Nelson." And we're like, "What?
Who doesn't like Willie?
How can you live in Texas?" And I said, "Maddie, you don't like Willie Nelson?" She said, "No. He whines when he sings. He got those stringy hair, and I hear he smokes marijuana."
You hear?
Well,
Oh, no.
a few minutes later, the phone rings. She answers it. "Party Line, you're on the air." "Maddie, this is Willie Nelson." She said, "It ain't done it." It ain't done it. And he's like, "Maddie, you just don't know how bad it hurt my heart to hear you say you don't like me." She said, "Well, I don't."
Oh my
And
gosh.
he said, "We're coming to the radio station." And she's like, "I get off at 5. And I mean, just a little bit. Here comes the Honeysuckle Rose. It pulls right up to the radio station. And here comes Willie, his road manager, his sister, and they come in, they sing to her. Now, she's acting like she don't like it, but she's eating it up.
Oh, of course.
Now, and he said, "Maddie, when is your birthday?" And she's like, "That is none of your business." And he's like, "Well, I'm just thinking if we have an open date, I'd love to come do a concert for you around your birthday.
gosh.
And for you and your listeners. And we'll just make it a birthday show." She's like, "You can ask someone else. I do not tell my birthday." And so after it's over, I tell the road manager, I'm like, "It's October 3rd. And he was like, "Okay, well, we can come do a show on the 5th, which ended up being like a Saturday." And he's like, "Listen, you pay for the sound, you pay for the lights, sell the tickets for whatever price you want to sell them for. We don't care. But at the end of the night, you bring us half that money."
That's a good deal.
And he takes about a step out of my office, turns around and says, "Cash." Because you remember Willie's problems with IRS.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, we took a HEB grocery bag with about $28,000 in cash up to the Honeysuckle Rose and knocked on the door, and they're like,
Puff, puff, pass.
"Let him in.
Bring in the cash.
Y'all want some?" "No, we're good, Willie. Thanks."
You're high already.
But when he was here, he first got on stage, and we were standing in line for a T-shirt. My smoking hot wife, whom I love more than life itself, and I just hear his voice, and I was like, "Ooh, his voice is weak." until he sang Whiskey River. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, you know.
He's putting out then.
And then
he had Micah with him that night too, and Micah sounds a lot like Willie.
Yes. But that was a great show. So some of my favorite shows have been, my point is, some of the favorite shows I've ever been to in the world have been right here in El Dorado at the amphitheater.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
That's awesome. We would love to do more of them. It's just a matter of being able to sell the tickets to support the jazz.
Right, and that's what we were talking about earlier. You know, when people are like, "Well, why don't you have Cat Williams?" Well, we can. Are you willing to pay $375 a ticket for him? Because that's what we're going to have to charge to be able to get him here. You know, I've had
one of the things that I'll say that I try to tell people as much as possible, because I don't know that if you don't actually put on shows, there's things that you don't think about the amphitheater and the way that it's built. And we love the amphitheater because it's a great community space. It's great for the farmers market. It's great for Saturday kickball games and all the things, but there's no fence. There's no gate. There's no concession stands. There's no bathrooms. There's no merch tent. And so all of those things we have to build out. And so the labor involved and the cost of renting and putting up and taking down all of the infrastructure that it takes, the production equipment, et cetera, in order to conduct a show, it is pretty expensive compared to the music hall where we just open the doors and it's ready to roll.
Right.
And so we can fit up to 1,800 seated in the music hall. So if we don't sell more than 1,800 seats, then
it makes no sense.
It doesn't make financial sense to be outside versus inside. Plus, you have the weather factor on top of that.
Then here's the other thing, and this is what I think a lot of people probably, it never crosses their mind because, again, they've never done this. But there is a tipping point to where, yes, you can sell these tickets, and that's great. But you also have to be selling to a demographic that's going to spend X dollars on average each at the concessions. You know, so yeah, it's great to fill that place up. You know, you can't hardly fit more people in there than dance recital, but guess what? They don't sell beer at dance recital, which is a terrible idea.
To get them to.
Well, I do too.
I do.
I've still got lots of years left.
I'd stay longer.
The dads would love it.
I'm telling you. It would be a hit.
We got to work on Clancy about that.
Yeah, I'm just
Dad section
Clancy.
in the
Listen,
mezzanine.
you know I've told you this. I have actually said this to her. Like, you know, if you sold beer, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And
we got to work on that.
Yeah, but anyway, it doesn't do any good to fill the place up if the average then ticket sale for concessions is going to be $6. You need those people spending more than that, and so. It's one thing to fill the place up, but you have to do it with a demographic that has expendable income. And that's that balancing act that, you know, people my age, we have a little more disposable income than, say, my oldest three kids. They have none.
Yeah.
Their disposable income is my disposable income. So, you know.
Yes.
But
I also think, you know, we're a great value because we are local. And, you know, if you go to a show in Little Rock, you're going to pay for gas. You're going to pay for a meal out to eat. You're going to pay for parking. You're going to pay for a larger ticket price. You're going to pay potentially for a hotel, or you're driving back late at night. So there's a lot of other expenses that go with going to a show.
And $12 a beer.
Yeah.
You know, that's so I've got the opportunity to go to a World Series game. My oldest son took me to the World Series in 2022, and we were sitting, it was in Houston, and we were sitting about as high up as you could get. I think there were 11 rows behind us, between us and the roof. Everything at the stadium was $18.95. Everything. You want a bottle of water? $18.95.
Wow. Yeah.
You want a Jack and Coke? $18.95. It didn't matter what you wanted. Everything was $18.95. You want a hot dog? $18.95. You want brisket nachos? $18.95. Everything.
Keeps it easy.
It did keep it easy. So you just knew you're dropping basically with tax $20 on whatever you pick up.
Yeah.
Whatever you touch. You want that frozen margarita with the swirly straw?
And people pay it.
Yeah.
And they do. But then I come here and I'm inside the music hall, and they're like, "Can't believe I had to pay $4 for that beer." I don't know if you've noticed or not, but you're paying that anywhere. You know. Anyway, I could go on about that, but that doesn't serve any purpose. The biggest thing is now you also have, which is we learned years ago was huge, and that's tribute bands.
Yeah.
We had Penny Lane came in to do the Beatles tribute, and I don't remember who all we had, but it was some really good shows, and people just love it. They love that music. They love that touchstone of I know all those songs.
We had the Beatles versus Stones. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, Beatles.
I thought there was a
Stones.
Rolling Stones component to that as well. That was forever ago.
Yeah.
But you've got Back in Black coming, which is an AC/DC tribute.
Yes.
And that's, again, if you want to go to a show where you're going to know all the songs,
There you go.
There it is.
Be the closest to the real thing without paying that price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And I've heard they're really outstanding.
Yeah. The lead singer of Back in Black actually tried out to be the real lead singer of AC/DC at one point.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Just not the same without Angus Young. Just so.
It's not.
But then you have. So someone asked me the other day, and this one I did know the answer to. They said, "Well, who's Mike Eli?" I'm like, "You remember the Eli Young band?"
Yep.
Mike Eli.
Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you've got him coming.
That's going to
this
be
fall.
part of my education.
Yes.
Every time I say his name, I'm going to say, of the Eli Young Band.
Yes.
And he's on a Wednesday night too because he does solo acoustic shows during the week when he's not touring with the band on the weekends.
Yeah.
Just know, I'm going to put my request in now. I will come to as many Mark Chestnut shows as you have.
Okay.
Mark and I grew up together in Southeast Texas and ran the roads together. And it's lots of stories, lots of stories there. So yeah, any of those shows, but just you would think. I remember we were not here for the opening weekend of Mad when you had Smokey Robinson, you had ZZ Top,
Brad Paisley.
Brad Paisley, Train.
Ex-Ambassadors.
Yeah.
Migos.
Yeah,
2
Migos,
Chainz,
Ludacris.
Luda. I
Ludacris.
forgot.
They were inside.
Luda was great. He was very professional.
We had some friends who were renewing
Ashley
their vows.
McBride, she was a
That's
a new
Ashley
artist
McBride,
then.
right.
Ashley McBride's great.
Yeah, she is fantastic.
But we had some friends who were renewing their vows in Eureka Springs, and so
Oh, man.
one of my buddies, or no, it was my oldest son, called me from the Brad Paisley show. He FaceTimed me, and all of our friends are sitting around this table in the courtyard of this hotel, and they're like, "Well, where is he at?" And I said, "El Dorado." I said, "Wait a minute, that was Brad Paisley." I said, "Yeah, we had Brad Paisley." I said, "I had ZZ Top last night, or or tomorrow night, or whatever. We got Smokey Robinson tomorrow." And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I just wait a minute," So
that was a marathon.
That
week.
was a great.
crazy.
oh yeah, yeah.
It was great.
Reverend, my second pastor, the Right Reverend Al Green.
Al Green.
I'll
Yeah.
take I'll come to as many of those shows. I don't know if Al even does shows anymore.
No,
Look
that up.
All I'll say is if you want to increase the population of El Dorado, have an Al Green show. There'll be
They
a
will
baby
show up.
explosion.
It will show up.
We will have a baby boom 9 months to the day. Now that Teddy Pendergrass is dead and Marvin Gaye's gone, we're dependent on you, Reverend Al. We need a baby boom. So come on, let's stay together. Come on and sing it with me, y'all.
Yeah.
So anything else going on?
Probably.
Yeah.
We got music, live music during the weeks, a couple times a month at Madhouse 101, and those are free. So you can give that a plug. Saturdays, we have farmers market from
I've bought lots of stuff
9
at
to
the
12.
farmer's market. Yeah.
They're getting a lot more produce this year, so we're excited about that. The splash pad is set to open soon.
We're working on it.
We've been working hard on
Another
that.
place would be great to have
The
a beer
maintenance
tent.
team is out there sweating away.
I'm just saying, a beer
A
tent,
beer tent.
A beer tent.
Oh.
at the splash pad. It'll save people from sneak their own in.
They won't let us have a liquor license over there with the kiddos.
Yeah.
There's some ABC rules against that or
No,
something.
we're not trying to give the kids liquor though.
Gosh.
Well,
I
then
think
look.
it would be fun to have like an adult night over there.
Yes,
though.
that would be
Yeah.
fun.
We're just
fun.
scared of what might happen.
Well,
on
that's
adult
true.
night.
That's true.
We can't let
With
the
there
adult
being a
night,
slide
like,
and water
break the children's
and a giant
playground
Razorback.
equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That,
With people trying to climb.
Imagine
There
someone
would be
thinking,
some pulled hamstrings for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, that maybe we hadn't thought this all the way through. Okay, never mind.
hold my beer, watch
In
this.
theory, it sounds great though.
Yeah. Hold my beer and watch this moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've all witnessed a few of the reason I say I've never had one of those moments because I'm still here.
Yeah.
The people who've had those moments, they're no longer with us. Let's think about them in silence, y'all. But yeah, we've all witnessed one of those hold my beer and watch this moments. And
I think I've had a couple of myself.
oh, well, good for you. And you lived through it.
There you go, Pam.
Yeah, I did.
Right
I
on.
still,
Right
I
on.
still have all my parts and pieces going on too.
In the right order and everything.
Yeah. Well, we talked last week that Boomer no longer has an appendix. They took his out.
Yeah.
And I no longer have a gallbladder. They took mine out. Which I was telling him earlier. I said that changes life.
Yeah.
Because you are no longer in charge of your schedule when you don't have a gallbladder.
Okay, that's good to know.
You might have the best laid plans, but I promise you, your gallbladder trumps them every time.
And you're not supposed to almost die from an appendix being taken out.
Right.
Either, so.
Yeah. We nearly lost Boomer. We
Yeah.
did. I spent 3 days at the hospital with him. And I was like, look, either get up or die.
Yeah.
Okay, I got stuff to do.
Stuff to do, man.
Well, again, Pam Griffin, thank you so much for joining us
thank
today.
Glad y'all were here.
Joanna.
This was fun.
As
Thanks.
always, it's great to see you.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate y'all coming by. For more information, you can check out eldomad.com, ELDOMAD.com. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
This is a nightmare.
Someone called for a nightmare? Hang on. That's your nightmare? Some roof damage? I'm a professional. I deal with real nightmares. You just need to sing the State Farm jingle.
State Farm jingle?
Do it!
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm can help with your claim. We're here when you need us.
Great. Can you get rid of it?
Ooh, we getting rid of. Wait.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And Boomer, it was we had a great visit with our friends from MAD. Murphy Arts District, Pam Griffin and Joanna Benson, and that was a lot of fun. It was very informative talking with them. So, you know, we're known on this podcast for our serious take on everything.
Yes.
No tomfoolery, no shenanigans, no hijinks. No miscreancy. None of that. But I thought maybe this week we might just let it go. Just find a few things.
Yeah, come out.
So I found this news story.
Oh, good. I'm interested.
Yeah. A 29-year-old tourist in the Philippines decided to take a selfie with what he thinks is a crocodile statue at a zoo.
See where this is going.
He climbs over a chain link fence.
He done clamped the chain link fence.
Wades into the enclosure. And just as he's about to snap the photo, the statue, a real-life 15-foot female crocodile named Lele, bites his arm and drags him into a death roll.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now,
hot wings.
Boomer, I don't know about you, but my first instinct is, wow, what a realistic sculpture. I'm going to go make sure it's not real. No, that's not.
Have you ever seen pictures of crocodiles on some nature show? They just sit there. That's their whole MO.
That's what they do.
Come on, man.
This is what they do. And so, this guy, he looks over
Philistines, them Philippians, the Filipino.
He looks over there and sees a crocodile, whereas
in an enclosure, you and I say, you know what? I'm going to just assume that's a very realistic looking statue, but I'm not going to remove any doubt. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it be, but not him. He looks over and says, that's a perfect spot for a selfie. Yeah. Maybe climbing over something, if it would have been a statue, it would have been next to the walkway.
Right. Where the kids could pet it.
Not in an enclosure.
That's the other thing. I mean, how many statues do you know that they actually put inside of a chain link fence?
With water and stuff.
Yeah, with a moat.
Yeah, and bad-smelling things.
Yeah.
That have been eaten and excremented.
And you can hear it growling.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking that crocodile was sitting there watching saying, that DoorDash was quick. I've been waiting all day to eat somebody. And look here, he's going to come over here.
I was waiting for the wildebeest. But here comes a Filipino.
Here comes this Filipino. They taste like chicken, too. So the zookeeper ended up having to intervene by hitting the crocodile in the head.
With a stick?
No, a 50-pound thing of concrete.
Ooh.
And it finally released the guy.
I'll have to remember that.
Well, it
carried me around a 50-pound piece of concrete all the time.
I'm afraid my
arthritis?
No, it's
bursitis? Bad shoulder?
Yes.
Tommy John?
No, that's here.
Okay.
Rotator cuff.
Rotator cuff?
Yeah. I've torn those a couple of times, and I'm
50
afraid
pounds.
picking up a 50-pound anything is going to kind of be out of the realm of possibility for me. So, Boomer, I love you, my friend, but that crocodile is going to eat you alive. Is all I can tell you. I can't do nothing
get into
for
no
you.
enclosures.
The only thing I have a chance, I am a pretty good shot, and almost at any point I'm armed.
Okay.
So you need to remember that. Some people,
Yeah.
At almost any time you encounter me,
don't play crazy.
Don't play crazy with me. FAFO. I'm just saying. Hey, actually had an incident. Nothing happened, but last night I went to walk into a store that I frequent, and I know the guy who owns it. And as I'm going to walk in, I see a bunch of people in there. It's normally not this many people.
Jeans Liquor?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, bunch of people in there, and my buddy who owns the place, he's
nervous.
He's nervous.
Yeah.
So I meander back out there to the truck. 17 rounds. We'll slip that in there. And then I walk in and they're like, you go ahead. I was like, nope, I'm just here to see my buddy. Y'all go ahead. And I wait until they all leave. And he's like, man, they had me. I said, I could tell. And he's like,
they were sizing up the store?
That's what it looked like.
Is it that you don't want to say?
Oh, I'm not going to say where because I don't want anybody knowing that they can go size this place up.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were sizing it up. There was too many people and they were trying to move in too many directions and they're trying to keep his attention. Hey, how much is this? This right here. How much is this? You know, and that kind of thing. And they're trying to keep it. And he was there by himself, which he normally isn't.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden he wasn't.
Yeah.
And
y'all go ahead. You said y'all go ahead.
Yeah. No, y'all go ahead. I'm going to be right here. Y'all go ahead and get with
I don't care if that is the last Miller High Life malt liquor.
Whatever they were buying. Yeah. But my whole thing was it was funny because everybody in there wanted to know how much something was, and they're all over the store.
Yeah.
But one person bought one thing.
Okay. Yeah.
There's another sign.
That's a dead giveaway.
But now you actually had a client one time that somebody came in and they saw he had a gun and he ducked down behind a shelf. And when he came up, he had a surprise.
he had 4 guns pointing at him.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he was going to rob this place.
I thought it was just a mistake. I didn't realize he.
No,
he
came up with a gun.
Oh,
and he had 4 guns pointing back at him.
Oh, I don't guess I realized that.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a mistake on his part.
Yeah. It was intentional, I should say.
Yeah. Again, that's FAFO.
Yeah.
Don't Google that. Ask your kids; they'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
You know, back to the crocodile and the Filipino. Moral of the story is and I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget.
Okay.
If you have to climb a fence to take a selfie, maybe reconsider. Yeah. And if that statue looks really realistic, consider the idea that it may be because it has a pulse and fresh meat and craves fresh meat. You better leave them crocodiles alone. Better put that down.
You better put that down. Better quit that. Oh, no. Hey, I hope you got a Florida man this week.
We do have a Florida man this week, and it's a good one. Oh, my. This is a good one.
Okay.
Here's the funny part. When I came across this story, I'm like, wait a minute, I've done this story before. But I realized as I read it, it's this guy. You and I have done a Florida man on him back in the day.
Back in the day?
We did a Florida man on him.
Is it another story or?
It's a different story, but the same guy.
Oh, Lord.
So a Florida man was arrested after trying to run to London across the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
He's going to run from Florida to London. Now, in his defense, he has run from Washington, D.C. to San Diego. He's done that.
Yeah.
But how do you run from Florida to London, England? London, England. How do you do that? There's not a land trail.
No, there's not a land trail. Now, you could run from there to Africa. Let's see.
No, you can't get to Africa. There's this whole thing called the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, I know. I'm trying to, back in the day, when in Alaska, went up there in Alaska, went over, you could go around.
You could run around that way, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to probably say no to that. But anyway, the U.S. Coast Guard intercepted, and this is what I was like, I've done a story on him before. Reza Baluchi. He's an Iranian naturalized citizen. He's American now, and a Floridian. They arrested him about 70 miles off of Tybee Island, Georgia. Officials say the 44-year-old marathon runner refused to leave the vessel for 3 days. Mr. Baluchi has tried similar voyages before, and I was like, yep, I have done this story on him before, all of which have ended in Coast Guard intervention. The makeshift contraption he was using was shaped like a hamster wheel with paddles on it that are designed to propel it forward as the wheel revolves. Mr. Baluchi's voyage began as officials were trying to prepare for the arrival of a major hurricane.
Oh, my Lord.
We've talked about this before. Sometimes timing is everything.
Yeah.
There are times that you can, and I'm not saying being critical, but maybe drop a hint to your significant other. But let me tell you when you don't do it, is after they've walked in and they said, I have nothing to wear. I'm fat. I can't wear anything.
Yeah.
Or when they first get up in the morning. You know what you need to do? You know what you could do to make you better? Don't do that. Timing sometimes. I'm just thinking that if you're going to run to London across the Atlantic Ocean, a major hurricane coming in is probably
a deterrent,
an unwise timing decision.
Yeah.
And that would be a grave error in judgment.
Yeah.
Officials said he refused to step off the vessel and threatened to kill himself, claiming he had a bomb on board. He eventually surrendered and abandoned his vessel after being brought to a Coast Guard base in Miami. Officials later determined the bomb had been a fake. It's unclear whether he's obtained a lawyer to represent him in his criminal case. Now, Mr. Baluchi's first arrest for taking to the ocean, this was not his first arrest for taking to the ocean in the vessel, which he calls Bubble.
Bubble.
A number of years ago, he was arrested after being rescued while trying to ride from Florida to New York. In 2014, he had to be rescued from a similar contraption near St. Augustine, Florida. And then 2 years prior to that, he had to be rescued near Palm Beach. According to previous interviews, Baluchi said he was attempting the voyages to raise money for a variety of causes, including the homeless and the Coast Guard. My thing is, Boomer, if he wants to raise money for the Coast Guard, he's doing a fabulous job of it, because my understanding is the last time he was arrested, he was fined $140,000.
Where did he get that from?
Well, I don't know. Maybe on some Iranian oil wells or something.
Maybe so.
know. And then the time before that, he was fined like $97,000. So we're right at $250,000. So he's doing a great job of raising money for the Coast Guard. What are you doing for him, Boomer?
Not getting fined, for sure. I mean, hey, if they want us to play the Coast Guard song, we'll do that. But we're not going to get fined for getting on a hamster wheel and trying to go to London
in a hurricane. And then they come to get him. He's like, I'm not getting on it. I'm gonna blow up this. I'm gonna blow it up.
Okay, go ahead.
Y'all back up. I'm gonna blow it up.
Blow it up, baby. Blow it
up. Needless to say, he is under watch.
Yeah.
By mental health
more
officials.
Than a 36 or 48 hour watch. I grant you. Yeah.
This is one of our favorites, Boomer.
Yeah.
Say it with me.
I like that.
Alcohol was involved.
Yes.
Brisbane, Australia. I read this story and I was guffawing. I was sitting in my office and like my kids come in and like,
what is wrong with Daddy?
Daddy okay back there? Brisbane, Australia. A 34-year-old tourist from Manchester. So he's from London.
Okay.
And so he goes to Australia. He was arrested Tuesday morning after allegedly scaling the fence of the Brisbane Wildlife Sanctuary in the nude while clutching a half-empty bottle of gin, repeatedly yelling, "Come to Papa, Fluffy," at a sleeping koala.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Witnesses say the man, identified only as Gareth, had been asked to leave the sanctuary earlier that day for aggressively hugging a statue of Steve Irwin without a shirt on. I'm guessing he didn't have a shirt on.
He didn't have, yeah. I'm sure the statue
of Steve Irwin had a shirt. I'm sure. Oh, crikey. This bloke's up here with no shirt. Griff then returned after hours completely naked.
Oh.
Claiming he had come to free the oppressed marsupials. He kept calling the koalas his spirit animals and tried to get one to ride on his back like Yoda, said zookeeper Mel Whitmore, who was the first to respond to the scene. The chaos unfolded. Up to this point, there's been no chaos, evidently. The chaos unfolded when Gareth entered the koala enclosure and attempted to cradle a very confused female koala named Tinsel. Tinsel responded with a series of loud grunts and then promptly scratched Gareth across his chest.
Yeah.
At which point he trips over a eucalyptus stump, spilled the gin into his own eyes. He started screaming and then tried to baptize himself in the koala's water bowl.
Oh, Lord. What is going on with these people?
Police arrived, the man naked, muddy, and attempting to climb a gum tree, shouting something about forming a marsupial militia against the tyranny of fences.
Tyranny of fences?
Gareth was treated for minor scratches, dehydration, and general confusion.
That's what gin will do to you.
In a statement, the Brisbane Wildlife Sanctuary reminded the public that koalas are not party animals and do not consent to being cuddled.
No.
That is unwanted touching.
Yeah, that is. Don't touch a koala there.
Yeah, don't touch that koala there. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll play the game Drunk, High, or Stupid.
All right, good.
You ready to do that?
I'm ready.
All right, we're going to take a break. Be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
Grammy Award-winning Train, live. August 27th, the Mad Amphitheater in El Dorado, Arkansas. Train, with special guest Edwin McCain. On sale now at eldomad.com. Presented by Save Me San Francisco Wine Company.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch. Boomer, before our break there, we're going to talk about Drunk, High, or Stupid, which is one of our favorite games.
Yeah, we like that. Yeah.
And basically this game, for those of you who don't know, is I will read a story and then Boomer has to decide, was that person drunk, high, or just stupid?
Yeah.
Or sometimes
all three.
A combination of the
Starting
three.
with stupid most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. This one's out of Bakersfield, California. So Florida gets a break.
Yeah, for a change.
Yeah.
We got to go all the way to the other end, though.
In a story local authorities are calling the weirdest Tuesday ever.
Okay.
Now, think about this.
Spit some weird Tuesdays around.
Bakersfield, California is about 140, 50 years old.
Yeah.
And this is the weirdest Tuesday they've ever had in 140, 150 years. Okay?
And there's oil fields down there, so you know there's some crazy oil field people.
There's some crazy stuff. So, in a story authorities are calling the weirdest Tuesday ever, a naked man was arrested after allegedly breaking into the Kern County Animal Shelter, attempting to summon the ghost of his childhood dog with a half a kilo of cocaine inside a rotisserie chicken.
What?
Boomer, let me just stop right here.
Wait. A picture. Okay, good. Paint that picture.
This public service announcement from Sandy and Boomer at Off the Back Porch. If at any point you're just in the normal day-to-day life and you think, you know what would be a good idea?
Yeah.
I'm going to strip down to naked and I'm going to go somewhere. Stop. That is the time where maybe
some reflection.
Call someone. Here, I'm going to put Boomer's number at the bottom of the screen. Call him. It'll see right there. There's Boomer's number right there at the bottom of the screen. So call Boomer and just tell him what you're thinking about doing so he can tell you no.
No.
Don't.
No. Reconsider. So what did he do?
A naked man
climbed
into the animal shelter to summon the ghost of his childhood dog with a half a kilo of cocaine inside of a rotisserie chicken.
I don't understand the combination of things here.
Witnesses say 38-year-old Trevor Dale, who described himself as a freelance paranormal sniffer.
Oh, there's that. Okay.
I don't know what that is.
What is it? He can smell some paranormal things. He sniffs them out.
I've got a great sense of smell, but I've never smelled a ghost.
I've never smelled a ghost. I know
Grandpa?
I know they don't like them keys on the piano up there.
No, they don't like them top keys. That one drives them crazy. According to the story, he was in the puppy adoption area holding the... I'm sorry.
What?
This is the story.
What?
Holding the chicken, the rotisserie chicken. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He described himself as a paranormal sniffer, broke into the shelter at 2:30 a.m. wearing nothing but flip-flops.
Oh, flip-flops.
And carrying a room temperature rotisserie chicken from Safeway.
Oh, what is this that you get ready to eat?
Yeah, it's
and
ready.
He stuffed a half a kilo of cocaine inside of it?
He was in the puppy adoption area holding the chicken
Come on, man, tell me.
like it was Simba from The Lion King.
No.
Simba. Look inside you. Don't look in the chicken. There's cocaine in there.
Hey, so the descriptive thing there was half a kilo.
Half a kilo, yeah. And here was the thing. Said he was chanting something about bringing Rufus back from the void.
Rufus? Come on, Rufus.
Said shelter worker Dana Lopez. Honestly, I thought it was some kind of performance art. Only in California.
Yeah, would you think that?
Because I'll tell you this: if you do that in South Arkansas,
yeah,
let me tell you what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to get shot.
You're going to get
arrested.
shot. It's just, is he holding up a chicken like Simba?
No, somebody shoot him.
Baby, bring me my gun.
Yeah.
Things about to get real around here. Security.
Well, stabbed it.
Yeah, stabbed. I don't go back there. Security footage reportedly shows Trevor making a pentagram out of milk bones, pouring Jägermeister. So he evidently had milk bones and Jägermeister with him too. They left that part out. So far, you ever play that game when you're driving down the road? It's like, I'm going to China, I'm going to take an apple.
Yeah.
And then the next person, well, I'm going to China, I'm going to take an apple, and I'm going to take
a ball.
Yeah. And then you go. Yeah. So this guy, so far, here's what we know. He had on flip-flops.
Flip-flops, naked.
He had rotisserie chicken,
half a kilo
of cocaine.
Now we got some milk bones.
Now we got milk bones and some Jägermeister. He ain't got no pockets. Where did he keep all that?
In a Sam's bag. He had a little
in a Safeway bag.
Safeway bag.
He drew a pentagram out of milk bones and pouring Jägermeister around it for spiritual hydration. He then allegedly pulled out a can of Old Bay seasoning.
Here we go. There's more.
So he's got Old Bay seasoning. A Bluetooth speaker playing Guns N' Roses' Paradise City.
Are you kidding me?
So he has, so far, he has on flip-flops. He has a rotisserie chicken. Rotisserie chicken with a half a kilo of cocaine. Milk bones.
Old
Jägermeister.
Old Bay seasoning.
Old Bay seasoning. A Bluetooth speaker. Now, what's getting the music to the Bluetooth?
He got to have a phone.
Got to have a phone somewhere.
Yeah.
So evidently a phone. He began yelling, "Rufus, if you're here, give me a sign or a bark."
Wow.
Evidently Rufus was his childhood dog who passed
he was
away.
Trying to.
Police arrived after a 911 call complaining of aggressive naked whispering. Now, Boomer, let me ask you this question. What is a aggressive naked whispering?
I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Naked aggressive whispering. Okay. It was phoned in by a nearby resident who was walking their Pomeranian. Now, it's important to put in there that they had a Pomeranian.
What time of the night was it?
2:30 a.m.
And you're walking a Pomeranian.
Yes.
Hang on. He was at an animal shelter.
Yes.
I see I'm still on the zoo.
A neighbor's walking their Pomeranian, and they see somebody aggressively naked whispering, and they call 911.
That sounds like a Wham song. Aggressive naked whispering.
I wish that you and me together in a bathroom stall inside a city park.
No, that really happened.
That was him. Yeah, that was the guy from Wham.
That's Wham guy, George Michael.
Let's see. Officers discovered the rotisserie chicken had been hollowed out and stuffed with cocaine, loose change. So now he's got loose change. And a credit card that expired in 1997.
Maybe that's what he bought Rufus with, the credit card.
Okay. Flip-flops. Rotisserie chicken. Half a kilo of cocaine.
Milk
bones.
Milk bones.
Jägermeister.
Old Bay seasoning.
A Bluetooth speaker.
A phone.
Obviously a phone. Now loose change.
And
a credit card.
card.
That's 11 things. Boomer, I got pockets and I don't have 11 things on me right now. This guy was inventive. I mean, he was just efficient.
There was a lot of previous planning for this.
Something.
No wonder he'd a whisperer.
He's the paranormal
sniffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I smell some ghosts around here. No, sorry about that. I had garlic for lunch.
Yeah. Must have been something I ate.
Police say, Officer Janelle Cruz said, he told us the cocaine was ghost powder and the chicken was a vessel for the canine soul realm.
Okay, he was going to feed the chicken to the dog.
She said, honestly, we just let him kind of finish his ritual before cuffing him. It felt rude to interrupt.
They wanted to have that play out.
They wanted to see how this is going to go. Hey, y'all, if a ghost dog shows up, just leave him be.
So if you ever, there may be a moral to this story. So if you ever get busted for chickens, cocaine, Old Bay seasoning, flip-flops, naked,
Jägermeister, Bluetooth speaker,
cell phone, and change. I don't know if I said change or not.
No, whatever, yeah.
Just because the thing they're going to get you on is what?
The cocaine.
The cocaine. But he said, oh, that's not cocaine.
That's not cocaine.
That's not cocaine.
That's ghost powder.
That is ghost powder. Well, when I bought it, they said ghost powder.
It makes me smell ghosts. I told y'all I'm a paranormal sniffer. Trevor is currently facing charges of public indecency, narcotics possession, breaking and entering, and violating multiple spiritual and poultry-related boundaries.
Who set up these boundaries?
Wait a minute. What was he doing to that chicken? I'm asking now. He was naked, I understand. But what was he doing?
I have no idea. Well, it's like the guy that said, come to my church. I said, I'm not going to make you sacrifice any chickens. He goes, not on the first Sunday.
Not on the first time, yeah.
So he was breaking some of those spiritual chicken rules.
In a statement from jail, 38-year-old Trevor Dale said, Rufus didn't show up.
You think?
But I channeled a poodle named Coco. So, partial success. So now, Boomer, the most important question.
Oh, man.
38-year-old Trevor Dale. Was he drunk, high, or stupid?
Yes.
I'm a ghost sniffer.
Where did you find that story? That ought to make national news.
Why hasn't it?
Why hasn't? I mean, if you get a guy that goes to an animal shelter and has all those stuff and is naked, and some lady with a Pomeranian is there at 2:30 in the morning, what are you? That begs the question: what are you doing walking your dog next to an animal shelter at 2:30 in the morning?
I'm looking for the next episode of Untold Stories of the Highway Patrol or something. I mean,
what is going on here, sir?
Is he on that chicken like Simba?
Sir, can I see your ID? It's right here. Everything you see is ID in me.
Cultural misappropriation. Yeah. That's what's going on right there.
Cultural misappropriation. Oh, my. That is the wildest story we've ever had with that drunk car stupid.
I think so. I
believe that's the number one.
It's going to be hard to beat
ever.
that. It's going to be hard to beat
ever.
That. So,
I would like to.
And these people are out there, folks. That's the thing.
I'm going to go home and Google Trevor Dale.
Yeah.
He's got to be on there.
There's got to be. I can't wait to see a booking photo of him.
See if you can look that up.
We'll just.
Here, you talk. I'll do it. You got it?
Yeah, you go ahead. Right. You can look it up. See, 38-year-old Trevor Dale, Bakersfield, California. Let's just see what comes up from that.
Okay.
You know, we used to play the Google game on the radio, on Kicks 103 back in the day. We would just start putting stuff in Google just to see what comes up. The thing that always got me was it turned racist every time. I mean, every time. It was like, oh, we can't read that on the air. So, although Boomer did always push the envelope.
No,
it always made me very uncomfortable with the things he would do and say on the radio. You know, it would always went against my sensibilities.
So what should I add to it? Trevor Dale what? Because there's several of them.
Trevor Dale, Bakersfield, California.
Bakersfield, yeah.
Let's see how that works out. Can't wait to see a mugshot of this guy. Going to look like Nick Nolte in that airport.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. 40-plus Trevor Murphy, high school, LinkedIn. Accused sex offender with drugs arrested there. Well, there's the story right there. There he is.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and put him up here for everyone to see. If I can zoom in on it, I will when we go to editing. But, yeah. He's clothed there, though. That's the problem.
Well, he's got it. Well, if you're taking a mugshot, they're going to put clothes on you.
See, I think you ought to
transient, registered sex offender, and drug possession.
I think you ought to take your mugshot and whatever you had on when you were arrested. That would just make it.
He's a miscreant.
Yeah, definitely a miscreant.
Okay.
Hey, we've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We want to talk about that when we come back?
Okay.
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
This is a nightmare.
Someone call for a nightmare? Hang on. That's your nightmare? Some roof damage? I'm a professional. I deal with real nightmares. You just need to sing the State Farm jingle.
State Farm jingle?
Do it!
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm can help with your claim. We're here when you need us.
Great. Can you get rid of it?
Ooh, we getting rid of. Wait.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. Boomer, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and of course, our lovely guests who joined us earlier told us about a whole lot that's going on at MAD.
Yeah.
And again, for more information on that, go to eldomad.com,
Yes.
ELDOMAD.com.
Yeah.
You can find out there. But one of the big things, and I love this every year when they do it, is the Symphony on the Square.
Yeah.
And that's going on this Saturday.
This Saturday night on the Washington Street side. And that'll be from 7 to 8:30. Bring you a chair. I'm sure they'll have some bleachers out there, too. But
Now, I was told yesterday, Karen Hicks from over at the Chamber of Commerce, she told me, we have a huge announcement that we're going to make during the intermission of Symphony on the Square.
Okay.
So, according to her,
maybe worth being there.
It's going to be a pretty big deal. So that's going to be at Symphony on the Square. That's this Saturday, as you said, from 7 until 8:30. Yeah. The 5th annual Glen Mechanical Kingdom Builders Golf Tournament is happening.
Yeah.
May the 30th at Mystic Creek Golf Club, and it is a fundraiser that goes on through First Assembly of God.
Okay.
And for more information, obviously you can go to Mystic Creek and see them, or you can email Pastor Kevin, Pastor Kevin Kevin at ElDoradoAG.com.
And earlier on the 24th, this Saturday, there's a Saturday morning walk. Join Women Moving Forward. Ladies, if you want to get some exercise or get some extra steps in, join Women Moving Forward on Saturday mornings. The first one's happening this Saturday at 7 a.m. at the football field. So,
you know, this is one of those moments where I'm glad I'm not doing a podcast with my son.
Why?
Because we're starting one. It's going to be called Son in Sanford.
Son in Sanford.
Yeah, Son in Sanford. And so be looking for that. It's coming soon. But this is one of those times where he would say something
negative
about women moving forward. And, you know, you can do that when you're not married. You can say dumb stuff like that.
Yeah. But if you didn't get enough walking in at 7 o'clock, then you can walk on over to the Old City Park at 10 o'clock till noon, the Lupus Awareness Walk. Everyone's encouraged to wear shades of purple. Donations are welcomed. And Chandra Hicks is leading that up. Old City Park.
Yes.
Over on College.
Yep.
Lupus Awareness Walk.
And Chandra's fabulous.
Yeah.
I love Chandra.
Yeah. Chandra redesigned herself.
Is that right?
Yeah, she was a large person, and she's not large anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
On June the 5th, the Mad Hatter's Dueling Pianos will be at Madhouse.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
They're always
dueling
fun.
Pianos, yeah.
Yeah, that's going from 7 till 9 at the Madhouse 101. And again, that's on June the 5th.
Yeah.
And so a lot of stuff going on around the area. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us this week.
Had a good time today.
Had a fabulous time, and we appreciate our guests. We appreciate you, our viewers and our listeners who come on board with us. And again, if you and your business would like help with your marketing, you want to reach a different audience, a big audience, and for relatively low cost, then give us a call. And again, I'll put my number at the bottom of the screen. You can call me, or you can call our general sales manager, Jack Sanford. I'll put his number up there as well. And give us a call. We'd love to talk to you and to help you. We've got some really big things that are coming up, some really huge announcements that we're going to make. And you can get in on those right now, ground floor.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people. One of the things, Boomer, we found out, and this just give us a moment. When we launched SouthArkansasNow.com, we launched December 2nd. We set a goal originally of we wanted 10,000 unique visitors per week, and we wanted that by February 1st. Well, when February 1st got here, we were at 17,700.
Oh, great.
We keep a rolling 30-day average of about 64.8 to 65,000 people on 30-day unique visitors. And when you're in a county of 53,000, and we get a lot
Some
of
reach then.
We get a lot of emails from viewers and readers who aren't from here, but they like looking at the stuff that's going on here.
Yeah.
Now they live in Dallas or they live in Little Rock or Fayetteville, but they keep up with what's going on back home via SouthArkansasNow.com.
Okay.
And those viewers are just as important because they a lot of times have influence over their aging parents.
Yeah.
And, when mom or dad says, I don't know what I'm going to do about blank, blank, blank. And they're like, well, mom, just call so-and-so because I've been seeing their ad.
Seeing it
online. And so we would love to help you and to talk to you about helping your business grow. Just give us a call. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Off the Back Porch. Until next week, God bless.